Hi everyone, you're watching CTV updates from the 42nd ASEAN Summit 2023 right here from Labuan Bajo, East Nusa Tenggara with me, Rahma Alia. Now this is the second day of the ASEAN Leaders Summit and the Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines and East Asian Growth Area or BIMP EAGA is still underway. And we have Andira Putri and Nico Arianto for the updates. Let's just join them. Andira, what do you have as the latest update right now?
Yes, Alia. So, like what you have been mentioned before, the last session from the last day of 42nd ASEAN Summit is the Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, East ASEAN Growth Area. So, this different from the other meeting which was led by Indonesian President Joko Widodo as we held the host presidency. For this meeting, the leadership was held by Malaysia. So Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim is the one who led the meeting. So for this one, however, it's a closed session and we didn't get much details regarding the speech of Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. But what we know so far is that the Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, East ASEAN Growth Area has 5 priorities, which are food basket, connectivity, tourism, environment, and socio-cultural education pillars. So, and also the state leaders of the Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines are agreed to have the joint leader statement regarding what their instruction to reach the vision for 2025. So this has been a really important point to help some of the ASEAN countries to integrate in terms of a lot of elements. And just like in around about 15 minutes, President Joko Widodo is expected to hold a press conference here at the media center in Bintang Forest Resort. So it is expected that he might give a wrap up regarding the sessions for today, including this Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, East Asia Growth Area. So today there has been 4 sessions. The first one is the retreat session focused on the Myanmar issue, and then there is also about the tourism, and we also have the Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand Growth Triangle, and the last one is the Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, East Asia Growth Area. So most of the session was led by President Joko Widodo, except, like I mentioned before, the last one, which was led by Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. And we'll continue to give you further updates about this. Back to the studio.
Thank you for the report, Andira Putri and Nico Saputra from the media center of the 42nd ASEAN Summit located in Bintang Flores Hotel. Now, previously today, President Joko Widodo led the retreat session of the 42nd ASEAN Summit earlier and highlighting the 5-point consensus of Myanmar. Chair, Indonesia continues the effort to keeping the 5 points of consensus moving forward by engaging with various parties, pushing the creation of inclusive bloc, shouting to stop violence, facilitating the solution using joint assessment through the ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Assistance or Disaster Management or AHA Center, as well as delivering the humanitarian aids. President Widodo said that Myanmar has failed to reach 5-point consensus and it needs ASEAN unification to create further implementation formula for the future. The president also reminded all delegations that Myanmar issue must not slow down ASEAN development.
Tapi yang ingin saya sampaikan adalah, yang ingin saya pastikan adalah bahwa isu Myanmar tidak boleh menghambat percepatan pembangunan komunitas ASEAN, karena pembangunan komunitas ini adalah yang ditunggu oleh masyarakat ASEAN. Dan terkait dengan implementasi IOIP, diperlukan kerjasama konkret dan inklusif untuk mengurangi ketegangan di Indo-Pasifik, yang salah satunya dapat melalui ASEAN Indo-Pacific Infrastructure Forum. sebagai platform kerjasama konkret bersama negara mitra.
President Joko Widodo also presided the 15th Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand Growth Triangle or IMTGT meeting with ASEAN Development Bank. The president hopes that the group can accelerate sustainable and inclusive economic growth for the countries. The IMTGT meeting was held in Mirwara Hotel at Labuan Bajo, East Nusa Tenggara. It was attended by Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, Thailand Finance Minister Arkom Termpitayapaisit, ASEAN Secretary General Kau Kim Orn, and President of ASEAN Development Bank Masatsugu Asakawa. President Widodo said the IMTGT has become golden triangle of cooperation for 85 million residents in the three countries, made $618 billion of trading volume in 2022 amid global crisis. The president called for strengthened spirit of collaboration by increasing competitiveness as well as tourism and investment connectivity to reach IMTGT vision by the year 2026.
Ke depan, IMTGT harus semakin mampu mendorong percepatan pertumbuhan ekonomi yang inklusif dan berkelanjutan. Karena tantangan ke depan tidak mudah, ketidakpastian masih tinggi, rivalitas masih tajam, dan efek domino goncangan ekonomi global masih terus mengancam.
Not only the 2 days of summits have been going quite smoothly for the heads of states and the delegations, but the 42nd ASEAN Summit taking here in Labuan Bajo also brings positivity, especially towards the economic of the local. Now, in further of the details, we want to join with Satya Pramesi and Dian Merdekawati. Hi, Messi. How's the situation right now?
The situation in the streets, Alia, is very hot indeed. Not only is it hot from the sun, but it is hot from all of the activities that's going around with all the tourists walking to in and around the street itself. Now, to give you a picture of how it looks, we are currently on the Soekarno-Hatta Road. Which road, you may ask, that might be? This is the one that leads all the way from down there to all the way over there. And over there is Mirwara Hotel, where all the biggest developments are have already been built. In fact, this is the most developed part of Labuan Bajo, if I'm not mistaken. Any parts that are part of the ASEAN Summit core area is where the development usually, tends to be the highest. So high, in fact, that I have seen not one, not two, but three different places that have exactly three different staples, I should say, that we see in Jakarta as well. Things like Starbucks and Mixway, the very famous, very I should say numerous ice cream shop that exists in any town and any city indeed that is at least pretty developed, I should say. So very comfortable indeed. This road, as I mentioned earlier, being close to the core of the ASEAN Summit, is part of the more developed area of the town, but it's not just because of ASEAN that it has been developed. Although that being said, some roads were redeveloped, repaved, and repaired in the lead up to the ASEAN Summit, including the road leading up to Ayana Hotel, because apparently before then it was a little bit bumpy, but now it has been repaved and the roads are smooth as silk. Development is not primarily due to the ASEAN Summit itself, as I mentioned earlier, but because this was previously already designated a super priority tourist destination, and hence, you can see behind me, the pavements are wide and the streets are narrow. Now, they did that on purpose because they wanted to make this place pedestrian friendly, and as you can see earlier, while I was speaking, there were already people kind of walking past me. I think they were part of the ASEAN Summit though, but talking from experience, it is quite a comfortable place to walk indeed. If it weren't for the sun, I would be doing it here all day. And that's all I have to say about the infrastructure and the development of the places, the areas surrounding the ASEAN Summit in Labuan Bajo. Back to you, Alia.
So much, Missy. You're looking very comfortable. Maybe you can have, a rest in one of those hotel cafes or restaurants around the Soekarno-Hatta Road. And now it is indeed a spotlight for Labuan Bajo, having the 42nd ASEAN Summit held here. Now, we want to take you to the other part of Labuan Bajo, which is the southern part of Labuan Bajo, East Nusa Tenggara, to introduce to you the Golomori Convention Center, built on a hill, which is one of the new venues for this year's ASEAN Summit.
Welcome to Golomori Convention Center, the newly developed venue in Labuan Bajo, East Nusa Tenggara. This venue could accommodate a large audience with various facilities, and on top of that, it also has a really beautiful scenery with a mountain and an ocean as the view. Let's take a look.
With the capacity to accommodate 500 to 700 guests, the Golomori Convention Center is set to become the newest venue for various events. It has an indoor convention room and outdoor area with a unique design. The convention center was developed for 3 years as a part of government's efforts of improving Labuan Bajo. Indonesian Tourism Creative Economy Minister Sandiaga Uno also aimed for Labuan Bajo, of attracting 1 million visitors annually.
Untuk aspek keberlanjutan dan konservasi, kita mengarahkan pembangunannya justru ke selatan. Dan Golomori ini, tadi saya diberitahu Pak Troy, awalnya 20 hektar, Pak Erick minta jadi 80 hektar, Presiden minta satu bukit. Ini nanti akan kita dorong terus. Kita kembangkan sehingga pembangunan di Labuan Bajo itu tidak hanya terpusat di satu titik, tapi tersebar.
The Golomori Convention Center has also become one of the venues for this year's ASEAN Summit. 2 youth delegates from each of the 11 ASEAN countries also gathered to discuss and create social media content. They also planted mountain trees together with Minister Sandiaga Uno, while promising to return to Labuan Bajo as they were impressed by the area's scenic beauty. People's Assembly Chairwoman Puan Maharani also visited the venue and talked with several of local youth. The youth itself is one of the highlights in this year's ASEAN Summit, which is focused on digitalization to empower all levels of community. The delegates even had the opportunity to speak in front of ASEAN leaders during the meeting.
We would like to ensure that all of the ASEAN population, especially the youth, have adequate skill and literacy to cope with the digital economy and also digital transformation. We would like to ensure that all of the ASEAN youth have an inclusive access toward digital devices, ICT infrastructure, as well as the relevant program that could empower them to become digital native youth as well as tech-savvy youth.
So this convention center is actually facing Rinca Island, which is one of the current popular destination in East Nusa Tenggara. However, several years from now, it is expected that Golomori will also become another destination that we have to look forward as Indonesian government will continue to develop this location. So whenever you visit East Nusa Tenggara, make sure that you explore more and come to Golomori. Andira Putri and Dian Merdekawati reporting from Labuan Bajo, East Nusa Tenggara for See Today.
We are going for a break right now, but after the break, join my conversation previously with the Indonesian State-Owned Enterprise Minister, Erick Thohir. That's going to be next after the break, so keep it right here on The Sea Today.
Life of journey. Escape and breathe the air on a mountain. Get lost in nature and you will find yourself. only on Sea Today.
Menurut aku, soang ini hewan yang spesial banget buat aku.
Memiliki degen itu seperti punya pacar yang lucu dan mengemaskan.
Primata itu memang kayak kita aja, dia punya perasaan, dia punya insting.
Koala udah jadi sahabat dalam keseharianku sih. Keakraban kita nggak akan bisa tergantikan meskipun dengan materi berapapun.
Sejak ada Ryuki di hidup aku, he's my other half now.
And hello to all of you, in case you're not aware, I'm Paul Palelli.
Lang nitazin ya.
Nitazin, long time no see. Bener ya?
Wow. I make a lot of money. I have a company and I was like, I don't.
Cut. 6 stars if I could.
Ya elah, bakso di depan, boleh nih kayaknya semangat banget.
Oh, he's gonna tip me?
Wait, is it Italian?
Yeah.
What's the background there?
Mas Remy, you're not getting off the hook in this one. Gotta answer.
I love them both.
Gue minta dong 3 hari semua artis yang menurut tuh paling bagus bikinin buat partai gue.
Sebagai profesional dan dibayar di depan sih gue nggak masalah.
Wow, kata lu uang nggak masalah, kenapa lu sekarang minta di depan?
Ah, kalau daripada bayar belakang nagih-nagih kan enggak.
Pak Polo sekarang kenapa bersih?
Iya.
Ya bersih lah, sudah nggak make lagi.
Salah satunya yang Jaksel yang gue beneran ikutin cuman gue pernah pakai sepatu fans kotak-kotak 6 tahun, udah itu doang. Sisanya gue nggak ada.
Aduh lucu banget ya.
The Cressida became a pioneer for luxury car makers from Europe such as BMW and Mercedes-Benz. The features of the car are timeless.
Ngobrol tentang Nusantara. Let's do this love.
Adila, kamu suka apa Adila?
Aku suka gudeg.
Kamu suka gudeg? Aku suka kamu dong.
Ya. Ngapain didengerin? Tidur.
Saya kan dari Binjai. Bahasa daerah Binjai cuma satu. Salam dari Binjai.
Hi everyone, welcome to the special coverage from the 42nd ASEAN Summit 2023 here in Labuan Bajo, taking the theme ASEAN Matters, the epicentrum of growth, with me, Rahma Alia. Now, the Indonesian Ministry of State-Owned Enterprises looks at this opportunity in the 2023 ASEAN Summit as an opportunity to show an ASEAN country or a Southeast Asian country as the center of economy. Now, aside from that, the state-owned enterprises are also expected to collaborate with develop the tourism sector, as well as increasing the national potential, not only in Indonesia, but in other ASEAN members as well. Now, regarding the role of Indonesia as the chair country of ASEAN this year, we'll talk further with the Minister of State-Owned Enterprises, Minister Erick Thohir. Thank you so much, Minister Thohir, for coming here.
How are you? All good?
We're good.
Beautiful
Very hot.
place, huh?
Yes,
Labuan Bajo.
indeed. Have you been enjoying?
Yes, many of the delegation also was surprised with the development of Labuan Bajo, which is, I think most of them mentioned 4 years ago, I believe is nothing they say here. Yeah, and this is why Indonesia seriously building the development not only on tourism also, but also in the economic sides.
Yes.
Creating jobs to make sure our economy is still growing for the next futures around 5%. It's
around
important.
5%.
It is important.
And it is indeed Labuan Bajo is now the super priority destination.
This is one of the projects for the center of growth within the east of Indonesia, besides also Papua and other places.
All right, that's great to hear, Minister Erick Thohir. So now let's start with the achievement of SOEs within the last 3 years. You made transformations, fulfilling this ESG in all the entities of SOE and making sure that it's not only serving the public but also very much benefiting in terms of financials. So how has it been so far, sir?
Well, the transformation of the state-owned business, this is nonetheless because of the full supported by Mr. President. Since day one, he asked me to join the cabinets. He told me to make sure the transformation of the state is really, really important for the countries as a balance. Not only we also pushing a third of our economy, but also to make sure we are providing the best solution for the people of Indonesia in terms of jobs, in terms of make sure also if there is some issue in the economics, we can coming in as a solution. So this is why actually it's very important to make sure the state-owned enterprise at this stage to show result to what the presidents want in terms of the transformations. This is why since day one that we want to make sure the perception of the state enterprise that before was perceived as corrupt and also too bureaucrats, because there is a uniqueness of a state enterprise. Why? Many of the ministers usually pushing ministry as a program base, which is true. But the uniqueness of the state enterprise ministry is a performance base. So it is a bit because we are corporations. This is why we are trying to transform very hard the state enterprise, not only the leaderships, but also creating a system so that the state enterprise can be continue to become part of the nation's solution in terms of economy.
Yeah.
This is why we reduced the number of state enterprise from 108 to 41.
Yes.
The grouping from 27 to 12 groups. And through the efficiency and the change of business models, now you can see, the people can see, also the government can see that our profit is increasing from 13 trillions to become 124 trillion. And the last one is around 240 trillion in terms of cash value.
Yeah.
Because actually the number was written down is 303 trillion. But there is around 60 trillion because of the restructurings of Garuda, so it's non-cash. This is why we're giving right now, I think this is the first in history of the state enterprise to contributing around 80.2 trillion to the Indonesian government.
Right.
And this dividend, of course, used for the government for the program can have helping the Indonesian people.
Right.
So this is something that we are proud of, but this is not because of me too, because of the support of my team and also the support of other colleague ministers.
Right, colleague ministers are also helping. So having all these transformations, Minister Thohir, how do you think the transformation can help in developing the tourism for Indonesia? We have In Journey under the state-owned enterprises. So how do you think it can help with the tourism sector develop, especially we are hosting many international events lately?
Actually, not only tourism. We are transforming the state enterprise to be a solution on health, on tourism, on finance for ultra micro, for small medium enterprise, for also a solution to solve the issue of sustainable energy, food, and so on. So, for example, what we believe to give the solution of this, we have to create an ecosystem. Cannot be stand alone on each of the company. Have to working together. This is why when the discussion I have with Mr. President have a vision of 5 new Bali. For example, one of them is Labuan Bajo, Toba, and so on. So then I said, Mr. President, of course, one of the solution to give a solution on tourism also, by the state enterprise try to be coming in first. I think this discussion or this story of state enterprise coming first is no a new one have them happen. If you look at also in Bali in the 80s, there is Nusa Dua projects. So this is why to develop the tourism, we have to be present there. three things. Number one, to have a solution on the logistics side. Because when you build ecosystem and tourism, you have to make sure the supply of energy is there. The supply of goods have to be present there. Then the second, then you creating major projects like Nusa Dua. In Labuan Bajo, which is what we built right now in this area, Merua or Mori. Yeah? This is the second phase. The third one, we have to be present with the people around to believe also their business side, which is the small, medium enterprise, the craft. This is why in Labuan Bajo, since 3 years ago, we not only building the projects of Merora area, Mori area, but also we build port. And we try to escalate the airport actually in Labuan Bajo become international airport. But too bad, you know, we signed the agreement that time with some of the partners globally to bring traffic, then COVID coming. So we are pursuing that one. Then at the same time, we help the people around to become a value creation for the tourism itself. The craft, the small, the restaurant, and so on. So I checked yesterday one of the program what we call PNM Mekar, which is actually we giving loan to women and the village 1 to 4 million. Yeah. In Flores area, it's cover already around 149,000 women, which is a number of money is around 435 billion rupiah. So this is the impact. Yeah, not only just building the infrastructures, but also yes, the real impact and the system around it. So.
Oh, we're talking about Indonesia. We're talking about Indonesia, but in ASEAN, as chairman this year, the State-owned Enterprise Ministry also needs to collaborate with the other ASEAN member states. So how do you address all the challenges and increase the regional economic collaboration between the other ASEAN countries?
Again, cannot be only us. This is why the President Jokowi have many discussion during at this stage with many countries to make sure we as the region understand that Southeast Asia is the future development of the world, the future economic growth of the world. By doing what? Not only stable on the political side, but we have to be a solution for global as part of the supply chains, which has been disturbed in the last 2 years, 3 years because of COVID and also the war. So this understanding, President Jokowi is trying to discuss with them. On the other hand, myself as the State-owned Enterprise Ministers, I've been discussing this for a couple of years with other colleague ministers from different countries. For example, like Singapore. 2-3 years ago, I was traveling to Singapore to present an ID. Why don't Singapore and Indonesia collaborate and see to build a sea tourism? So for example, the moving of the yacht from Singapore, the cruise, the yacht from Singapore to Jakarta, to Bali, to Labuan Bajo, to Raja Ampat and go back. So we can create a ship, the line of the cruise system between the two countries. That's number one. The number two, which is the last project we've been discussed. Indonesia is a very big, huge potential for digital economy. So we have a collaboration between Indonesia and Singapore through our partnership in Telkomsel, Singtel and Telkom. So with this base, what we discussed with Singapore that time, we need to step up the partnerships by creating value for the Indonesia future digital economy.
Right.
So the Telkomsel can become the aggregators for content and so on. So reinvest back to Indonesians. At the same time, Telkom to build infrastructures for this digital economy. Singapore can also be a part of this, creating together data centers. Anyway, Singapore also need data center. the land of Singapore compared to Indonesia, we are much bigger, so we can collaborate on that one. The discussion we have with Malaysia, I just have lunch right now with some of Malaysia. Why don't we not collaborating to build our energy supply between the two countries? Especially right now, we are very neighbor with Malaysia since we're moving our capital city next to each other's.
Very close.
So if we can create together a right balance between future green energies, this is something that a solution for both countries too. Then this is something that we want to cooperate through the regions by giving a win-win solution on the two country partnerships to grow the economy together, not stand alone to one each other's or take advantage to one each other's.
Yes.
So sometimes I giving a joke to some of my counters, colleagues from different countries, is depend what we see to our neighborhood. This is, we want to create a win-win partnership or taking advantage.
Yeah.
This is something that not workable.
Right.
So this is something that we have to respect between the neighbor to give solution for both country and also for the people.
With the spirit of
Partnership as a
inclusivity
Southeast
and partnership.
Asia
Yes. All right.
community.
All right, Minister Thohir. But when we see you and also Indonesia, very, very strong. We have sports as well that needs to be developed. Indonesia is part of the International Olympic Committee or the IOC member, and as well as FIBA Central Board member. How do you boost sports collaboration in Southeast Asia?
I really believe to strengthen the relation of two countries, not only through just G2G or B2B. What is most important? People-to-people connections. So if we want to build a strong relation for our neighbors, it cannot only the perception of, oh, Indonesian need jobs in Malaysia. Or, oh, maybe we need this from different countries. But to create a sustainability partnerships in terms of culture, sport, these relations will be strengthened, the G2G and the B2B. Right. So we can become one. I really believe through sport is the easiest part. We are connecting to each others. This is why, for example, at the beginning when we bidding FIBA World Cup, Basketball World Cup, the proposal that times is between Indonesia, Philippines, with Thailand, Malaysia, or Singapore. But, you know, to discuss among Southeast Asian is not also easy.
Yeah.
The discussion stopped because there is no content. Then, we and Filipinos stop. So why don't we say, okay, we bring Japan to this partnership. So this is the first time actually in FIBA competition, World Cup, collaboration by 3 countries, Indonesia, Philippines, and Japan. Actually, it should be Indonesia, Philippines, and some of our counterparts. The same thing if we want to bidding future World Cup or future Olympics. Cannot be just Indonesia alone. If you look at what happened in FIFA World Cup, FIFA increasing to become 48 countries. Is the next World Cup is collaboration between US, Canada, and Mexico. So regional play, it is something, you know, in the futures that each country have to open to think on collaborations. This is the new era. So I really believe why I really push and believe on people-to-people relation to sport and of course cultures.
Yes.
Yeah, this is something actually can strengthen the partnership between the Southeast Asia community.
Okay, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
speaking with us here in the
Thank
C2D
you.
studio in Labuan Bajo with a beautiful
Yes,
setting.
good view.
Yes, very good view. And once again, thank you. And
Thank you so
hopefully we
much.
will be talking again soon.
No, thank you. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to be
Our
here.
pleasure as well. So
Thank
that
you.
was our discussion with the Minister of State-Owned Enterprises, Erick Thohir, and that's the coverage from the 42nd ASEAN Summit here in Labuan Bajo. We'll be reporting more from here. My name is Rahma Alia, and bye-bye for now.